Hi everyone. So I'm going to talk something really important for all the educators. That is why student-centered teaching methods creates real empowerment within the classroom. I would like to start this with a simple question. That is, have you ever wondered why some lessons feel really alive while other lessons feel like we are just pushing through a textbook and so bored? I think we all have this experience at school or maybe in university. So the answer is really simple because the more students engage, the more they learn. And that starts when the teacher stops being the boss inside the classroom and becomes the facilitator of learning. And I think that some teachers fear that if students take the lead, they will lose the respect that they have and they will lose the dignity that they will have and or the authority maybe. But the truth is that the students don't respect your power. They respect the connection that you have with them, the clarity of your lessons, and the inspiration that you are providing for them. So a teacher who empowers the students doesn't become weaker. They become inspirational figures in the students' lives. So when students talk, when they think, when they debate, and sometimes they question and they create, the learning becomes very meaningful and the learning becomes very memorable and it becomes a very personal experience as well. Because in a student centered classroom, I would say that the students are not just the passive bored learners, but they are the active thinkers and they are the builders of the knowledge. And that's when the real education happens. There is a famous educational psychologist called Vygotsky, and he said that the students learn best when they operate in the zone of proximal development. That is the space between what they can do alone and what they can do with someone's guidance. The question is, who is going to provide that guidance? Definitely, he or she should not be a commander, not a dictator, but a true teacher, a true facilitator, I would say. So, when students lead to discussions and when they solve problems together as a group and when they make meaning from the lessons, they sit directly in that optimal learning zone. And the next point that I would like to say is that there's this scholarly work called Pedagogy of the Oppressed, written by Paulo, and he warns against the Banking model of education. So, the Banking model of education is something like where the teacher deposits knowledge into the silent students. So, he says that this method leads to oppression and it does not lead to education. So, he argues that a true dialogue, the true sense of active participation, and the student voice are the path to liberation, and this education becomes a liberation in that sense. And when a teacher steps back a bit and lets the students step forward, education becomes a partnership and no more it's going to be a hierarchy. That is the heart of empowerment, and all the teachers have to think about this, I guess. And also, the teachers must realize that we should let the students lead, does not just we might think that if we let our students to lead it might reduce our dignity, but it's not true. Actually our dignity enhances because of that. And because a teacher who empowers students is not losing authority as you think. The teacher shares the authority inside the learning process, and it's very nice. These kind of teaching methods actually turn the classroom into a particular community, I would say, a space of growth, a space of curiosity, and also a nice space of courage.